Hello, big thinkers. Welcome to Big Think Mailbag. Number goes here. We've got the full crew plus one. We've got Bob.
Hey, guys.
From GigaBoots. We've got KZ from KZExcellent.com.
Bark, bark.
We've got Mr. Feel from Mr. Feel's Wild Ride. Ooh. And I'm your host, Dan Video Games. And joining us this time, yet again, we are blessed with Dr. Aggro's presence.
Something smug and in Latin.
Well, we've got a lot to do, so let's get started. The first email comes in from Ark. Ark says, "Hello, masters of the Brainiverse and Dr. Aggro." Oh, that's harsh.
Jesus.
Here's a question for you. What works of fiction, books, games, TV shows, movies, etc., served as a major gateway to other things you like? Like, say, after watching / reading / playing it, you looked into what other works inspired the creator's other works, and what made you look for similar works in the same genre. I think I think one of the most inspiring things I ever read was Atlas Shrugged, so, you know.
Okay, as the only one on this podcast who has actually read Atlas Shrugged. Fuck
I
you.
played Bioshock. That's close enough.
What?
I tried.
I read most of Atlas Shrugged.
Again, I played Bioshock 1 and 2. I've done more than enough.
It's Aggro. It's not my fault that that's the only book subject to Xenos' paradox. I did read The Fountainhead, though. I managed to get through that one. What a stinker.
I've got a perfect one here.
Okay, go ahead.
I played Astral Chain, and it inspired me to go check out Evangelion again, and that was pretty good.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Bob played Guilty Gear Strive, and he thought he might finally watch JoJo's.
Yeah, playing Guilty Gear back in the day and not realizing half of the things. They're just directly stolen.
Yeah, no, it makes it a lot less inventive, I guess. I played 13...
Zato is sweating.
I played 13 Sentinels and decided to look into sci-fi, the genre. The entire fucking thing.
The entire genre.
I don't... It's hard to phrase this because I think 13 Sentinels is the first time I've had the idea of this person was clearly inspired by this thing. I want to go check that out just because of it. Most of the time, when I get excited about a piece of work and it inspires me less to look at exactly what inspired them and more to look at contemporaries, to look at other people in the same space. That's normally what happens. And good thing too, because I read Ender's Game when I was young, and I don't want to read whatever inspires that man.
I heard all that's really good.
Sure.
I only heard. I don't know anything about it. I heard it's like Star Wars, but for kids.
Whoa!
Where the fuck did you hear that and from who?
I just remember when it was coming out, someone said that in like a clickbait headline, and that's all I know about it.
It was pretty cool when the opening scene of A New Hope was Luke stomping in someone's throat. That was pretty cool.
Oh, should I see this?
I didn't.
No,
You should not watch the movie.
The movie doesn't have anything good.
The movie's literally worthless.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a shame Ben Kingsley is in that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they got Ben Kingsley and Harrison Ford, and it's like, wow, this is really bad.
Oh no, this is like late era Harrison Ford, so that makes sense.
Yes.
But here's the thing.
It was like, I'm here to get paid.
Here's the thing. Ironically, that made him perfect for the role he was supposed to play.
Oh, okay, because I was about to say, like, late era Harrison Ford, very close to late era Bruce Willis.
I think that's underselling late era Bruce Willis. But yeah, as for the question at hand, instead of what I've decided to make this about. That's usually how I go. Do you guys like experience a thing and go, I want to watch the animes that every character in this Guilty Gear game is clearly ripped from?
A little bit, but
Yes.
well, something I did, which looking back was pretty weird, is there's an interview about Matrix Path of Neo. Where they were like, yes, we were really inspired by this specific old samurai movie. I think it was Sword of Death. So I hunted that down and watched it. Sword of Doom, thank you. So that was weird. I don't know why I did that.
Good movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Almost really not that close to what ended up in the game.
I played Conker's Bad Fur Day, so I watched every Blockbuster film. And a few Skateboards.
I really wanted to get Conker's Bad Fur Day, so I watched The Human Centipede.
Very, very excited for Microsoft to greenlight a Conker 2.
Made by the same guys that did Battletoads.
I can pretty well confidently say that a startling percentage of the things I'm into today stem directly from the 1977 Rankin Bass animated version of The Hobbit.
That is one of the most incriminating things you've ever said as a human.
I didn't even know The Hobbit had an animated thing.
Oh yeah.
That's how I found out about the books. Like, I rented that movie 3 times from Blockbuster. My dad's like, there's a sequel to that. And I'm like,
The only reason I knew The Hobbit had an animated movie is because I had like a really almost like a coffee book version of The Hobbit where it had huge wide pages, and it used stills from the movie as illustrations.
Yeah, I'd just seen the animated version on TV. I thought Cartoon Network just aired it. What's up?
Just thinking, that's the original Animanga.
Hell yeah.
oh, fuck.
Come on, man.
No.
But no, I as a kid, I looked forever for anything with an art style that like dark and cool and shit. And I could only ever find it at flea markets, like airbrushed on vans, and my parents wouldn't let me go anywhere near those people.
That's a good choice.
Yes.
Not really the same thing, but when I was in high school, my brother was friends with a guy and he made internet videos. And that really opened me up to that concept as a creator. Whereas like normal humans can make that, not just, TV stations and stuff. So that's what made me look into that. That is the closest thing I have to this, per se, I think. Where it's just like, oh, like you can edit things on your home PC and stuff. So that's what did that for me. His videos are terrible, but that's beside the point. It was like 2002. I think every internet video from 2002 is terrible.
Probably right.
I think when your best bet is the all your base video, that says a lot.
That's really good.
It isn't repugnant or harmful to watch, okay. So that helps.
Yeah, that makes it at least a 6.
I'm good to move on. Is everyone else?
I maybe should mention that I'm pretty sure the reason that I'm into kung fu movies is because when I was an adolescent, I saw Master of the Flying Guillotine versus the One-Armed Boxer, and that movie was so fucking crazy, it sent a young teenager to go watch 70s movies.
I know that watching a Jackie Chan movie on TV inspired me to watch every Jackie Chan movie ever.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I feel like that's a bias, and that doesn't fit the question here, because, of course, yeah, I saw Rumble in the Bronx at a theater when I was a kid, and that damaged me for life, and now I need to see them all.
I've seen Rush Hour.
That's cool. That's not a terrible Jackie Chan movie.
It's pretty good. Medallion.
Okay, that is a terrible Jackie Chan.
Yeah, that is like the worst we've watched.
I've seen Jackie Chan Adventures.
Jackie Chan Adventures punches pretty high on the list, I think. But I don't know.
That's all the Jackie Chan material I've seen.
Jackie Chan Adventures is great. It has It has Hawk Fu, who just looks like Akuma.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you're right.
Especially, he actually, then Akuma changed to look more like Hawk Fu.
I'm trying to look this up right now. One moment.
Yeah.
One moment.
Yeah,
Oh,
you got
man,
more like a lion
fuck.
mane thing going on.
Gee.
Yeah.
I was always pretty
Christ.
sure he was a direct reference to Red Hawk
From what?
from Red Hawk, the anime, 1995.
Nope. No idea.
Oh god, this is the second we've brought it up on mailbags before.
Magic must defeat magic.
Good magic must defeat evil magic.
Yeah.
Because Hawk Fu always yells stuff like "Angry Crow takes flight" when he does jumping
Yes, he
kick.
does. God. What an immaculate show.
You know, most of these images I'm looking at, he doesn't have this energy I'm going to speak of. But in this one specific image I posted in the mailbag channel for us, he looks a bit Lion-O power. Like there's a Lion-O energy emanating from this
Yeah.
man.
Definitely.
Inspector Gadget got me into anime. Okay, I'm done with this question.
Bye.
I saw the ocean dub of Dragon Ball at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning when I was 9, and it ruined my life. There. Everything was over at that point.
I went on vacation to visit some Cajun relatives in Louisiana, and on their like local broadcasting networks, they aired Dragon Ball, and I was like, "What the fuck? Louisiana has cool shows. What the fuck is this?" This was way before Toonami aired it, so I was just floored and devastated because, of course, I have a terrible memory. I couldn't remember the name of the show. I tuned in the middle of it, but it was cool as hell. So you know, that made me really jealous of Louisiana.
That's a rare human emotion.
Look, there are two reasons of that point in time to be jealous of Louisiana: the food and the Dragon Ball Z. That's it, man.
I mean, yeah, I went to Louisiana, had beignets, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I understand.
Also, whenever you get Cajun food anywhere else, it really sucks. It's just awful. It's the worst thing about being raised by a Cajun is not only does everywhere else suck whenever they slap the word Cajun on a thing, eventually that person, if they stop cooking enough, they will get bad at cooking the food, and now you can get no good Cajun food. I'm gonna have to learn to cook just to get good Cajun food. That sounds terrible. I can't even make Cogna Mool correctly. Anyways, did anyone else have anything else they wanted to say? Okay. We're moving on. Third Energy writes in, "Howdy, ruminating Rangers. Have you ever been in a situation where someone had attempted to push something on you so hard, whether it be a game or film?" I thought it was going to be like furniture. Whether it be a game, film,
What, they're
or...
trying to kill us? I'm gonna push this couch at you until you die.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to. Can you help me get this couch?
I'm going to push this bookshelf
Fucking
on me
man.
so hard.
Everybody,
No, just kidding.
has that not happened to y'all?
I'm gonna set up
Just climb into the van.
I'm gonna set up an explosive charge in Bob's apartment. So when Dan walks by, I'll detonate the leg that the Trinitron is on, and it'll just fall on him.
Oh, the sound that'll make.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, push something on you so hard, whether it be a game, film, or anything else, to the point where you swore to never check it out due to that person's persistence. Most popular American television shows over the last 15 years. Okay.
White supremacy?
White supremacy.
Okay.
Aggro's
Okay, I
just
was
like-
about to say no, but yes. Yes.
Aggro's like, I was thinking about it, but this guy's so annoying.
Didn't
Put
seem
on
like
the
a good
hood.
crowd.
Yeah, no. No, I don't feel like I've hit that level of petty of like, I will never engage with this now.
Yeah, it generally comes off as its own brain disease.
The I will never check this out thing is a weird thing that's vindictive to an extent that I don't really have a capacity for. And I don't know if that's normal or abnormal, but the part where it's just like because everyone knows I'm psychotically busy. It's really annoying when I hear 15 different people say, "You really need to watch this." And I'm like, yeah, that would be neat if I could check that out. I don't really have time for a whole show. And to hear that enough times, it just gets annoying. But that's it. Like, it's never like, I will never watch The Mandalorian. I hate fun. Yeah, I've never, I don't really, I'm trying to think of anything else. Not really the same thing, but Bob's brother's into the Mars Volta, so I'll never listen to them.
Yeah, that's pretty different. I don't think he
I don't
pushes
know what
that.
that is, and I will continue to not.
I'll never listen to the Mars Volta because I've listened to the Mars Volta.
See? And the more I hear comments like that, I'm like, I chose well.
Now, I want to say the Tesla, but the fact it explodes when lightly jostled is also, holding me back on that one.
Right? There are other reasons.
Theo, we're never going to save the planet if you're just going to be a coward.
Oh, hey, now the Tesla's auto driving never crashes because it deactivates a nanosecond before impact, so it doesn't count.
God.
Phil will ride a bike.
I do own a bike. The only thing that I can think of where I have definitively gone like, fucking never, because you want me to,
I knew you'd have something.
is Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I know.
fair.
I know the energy you're
Not
talking
ever.
about. Yeah. No, I get why if you engaged with those people long enough, you would swear that.
Oi.
But it's not like fuck you specifically. It's more like I don't want to be on the same hemisphere as any of you people I can see that's into this.
That's why you live in America.
I'm gonna be honest.
Casey, it's not just Britain.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of felt the same way about Monty Python at first because of how annoying the people who would quote it and scream it nonstop were. And then they would act like you were a leper if you'd never seen Monty Python. Keep in mind, I was like 13. So it's not like I'm a 30-plus-year-old man. It's just the people who would quote Monty Python whole cloth, not fitting the situation at hand, and then on top of that, acting like you're a leper for having not seen it when you're not even an adult. That definitely made me go, man, it seems like Monty Python's for insufferable assholes. Maybe I should stay clear of that. But,
Yeah, I can understand feel avoiding that because anything that puts you anywhere close to super Hulock fans is dangerous. You don't want to be anywhere near that.
And I'm going to be real. I enjoyed the Danganronpa games a lot. If any of those fans come at me, I'm getting a gun.
Oh no, the kidneys are crawling up the wall.
First I use the super shotgun, and then they start glowing orange, and I pull their skull in half.
And they're all 15 years old.
Why is everyone for this M-rated game series where every game is rated M 14?
Yeah, I love this series. I got into it when I was 8.
Yeah, that's how it works. I mean, that's been going on forever. Like tons of kids into Mortal Kombat, tons of kids into Grand Theft Auto. It's just how it is.
well, yeah.
Dude, it's so bad. I once saw someone post that said Danganronpa helped them learn how to read.
That's tragic.
Seeing a character say, "Let me put on my makeup first before you fuck me," is definitely going to teach someone how to read.
It is. When she's like, oh man, finally someone called me a cum dumpster.
Yeah,
Jesus.
That's pretty tragic. Bob, did you have an answer to this question?
I mean, there's the obvious stuff where I don't think that I'd go to the extent of I'll never watch this, but a ton of people pushed new seasons of Kamen Rider on us and other
That's by
Sentai
far
shows.
the most insane one.
The
You're
Doctor
like,
Who
I
of
don't-
Japan.
Yeah.
It is pretty similar.
Yeah.
It is. It's like, just let people not want to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I've said before, like at this point, if I watched it, I wouldn't tell any of you.
Yeah. This sort of thing happens a lot where you just get so much of a feedback loop of it's so good, it's so good, it's so good, you have to watch it, it's so good. Eventually you just like get tired of hearing about it and would rather not
Good.
engage.
It's good. I've never seen a good television show before.
I've never seen special effects this good. It's good.
But yeah, no, we've even never mind. I can't. I'd break my rule. I've been all for other people I know making a Common Writer podcast together, but they seem to not want to do it in reality. They just want to talk about doing it.
Yeah, planning things is more fun than doing things.
That yes.
Tends to be how it goes a lot.
Absolutely, which is why I always plan way more content that I'm working on so I don't just give up. But yeah, no, that's true. It has a Whovian energy to it. Look, I played that Sega CD game. Isn't that enough? It's basically that movie. Come on. Okay, so we're moving on to the next question. Well, technically asks, do you guys have any games that you remember playing as a kid and liking, but don't want to go back to it out of fear that it's actually bad? I remember I used to love Billy and Mandy Power Stone-esque game. Wait, that game was like Power Stone? Anyways, on the PS2, but you couldn't pay me to play it nowadays because it's probably an abysmal nightmare, and I don't want to find out. Keep up the amazing work, GigaBoys Heart. I'm pretty sure similar questions have come up in the past, but I'm just going to say it. Claymates. Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid to go back and play it, but it's the only game in my entire life I went back to play where I was like, oh, kid me, love this. This is not great.
Yeah, no, I'm always excited to go back and just see if something I liked as a kid was actually good. Like, that's how I usually approach that. I think I want to know what it was.
You're excited for Jet Force Gemini?
Yes, in a sick way. But I know it was bad because I remember things from my youth. So we're like, yeah, I just dealt with that because it was the game I owned.
And now you know when we recorded this.
I've gone back to most of the stuff that I played, so I have a decent idea of, all right. One where I went, oh no, when going back to it, the Super Nintendo classic Toy Story, where I'm like, oh, this is just made by a sicko. Okay, I understand now. It's all right, but it's insane.
It's better on the Genesis.
Maybe it is. Maybe I'll stream that and find out.
Yeah, you got to do the Toy Story v Toy Story stream.
No, we set up a squad stream. You pick the platform you want, I'll pick the other one, and we'll both go. Finally, some good ideas. The one thing that I was deathly afraid of ever going back to, in the fear that it was bad, Gex 3. Thankfully, you helped me figure out.
Yeah, that game's the best of those three, easily.
Yeah, you helped me figure out the score here.
I too was terrified that it was more of two. But yeah, usually I'm not afraid of it. Usually I want to find out, but that Claymates thing knocked me on my ass.
I want to go play the Van Helsing PS2 game because I remember that being like Devil May Cry, and I want to know if that's true.
You know what? We should have this conversation. That doesn't really happen for me for games, and I'm not afraid of it. Claymates is really the only example ever. Let me tell you about movies like Van Helsing. That movie came out.
Oh man,
I was like, this is really cool.
I am really scared. Specifically for that one, after we watched The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which when it was a kid, I was like, oh, that was delightful. And we rewatched it for cursed content. I'm like, what the fuck did they make?
Yeah, at a time, I thought that was the worst thing we've ever watched for content.
Yeah, Van Helsing will definitely have the same energy. I've seen maybe 15, 20 minutes of it since I was a kid. It's a mess. It's a mess.
I remember even thinking that was bad when I was a kid, so I'm worried just how bad it was.
But I was like, no, Bob, it's cool. It's like Castlevania. It's cool.
Sad Wojak.
Look at this man. He whips things, maybe? I don't know. He has holy water. It's very cool.
So I didn't get the Medieval remake because I really liked that game as a kid. But I keep watching videos of it and thinking, that game's probably not good.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked that game as a kid. and I'm like, I have to look at it on the store now and then and think, no, you're not brave enough. But thank God no one has ported Threads of Fate recently, so I can not find out if that game's bad, because that game was real good.
We can just keep pretending that the packet without going back.
That game's gorgeous, and that's all I need to know.
I have to test that now. It's on the PlayStation TV. I've never played it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of games that I was, and I'm like, oh, I should go back to this to see how I feel about it. And in so many of the cases, it's just, yeah, I don't think it's terrible. I just think it's horrifically hard. Why is Super Star Wars like that?
Because sick people thought rentals are so bad we should beat children. That's what they thought.
You go to that Sandcrawler and you're like, this is a nightmare.
Even as a kid, I thought that one was bullshit. It's like, what the fuck is this game?
Look, Europeans
no game I've ever played is like this.
Europeans should not be allowed to design 2D platformers.
The best thing is I don't even know if that was European. I think that was LucasArts themselves.
Oh my god, what happened?
Yeah,
I think we found it out that it might have been European. I don't know. There's like an hour and a half long video we did.
It's definitely
specifically outlining it.
Yeah, it's definitely European in every way you could think of. Where it's just like, look at these amazing graphics and bad gameplay and bullshit
your
level
design. Your jump is only good if you hold up.
I forgot.
Apparently, the developers of those were Mormons.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Sculptured Software, located in Salt Lake City, Utah.
All right.
Ooh, that's.
They also made Looney Tunes basketball.
Oh, that was actually fun. I think. Oh no.
Yeah, I keep waiting for you guys to do a Super Nintendo roulette and to suggest that, or is it on Genesis? I don't even remember.
I played it on Super Nintendo. I didn't own a Genesis for that part of my childhood, and I remember that game being great. And now I'm terrified.
Okay, it was only on Super Nintendo.
Oh,
now that you've mentioned, like, oh man, fucking rentals force these games to be terrible. I'm just thinking about The Lion King, which I also owned, that was made harder entirely to make it so you could not beat it in a weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I prevailed, but
I just put it down. I was like, this is fucking bullshit.
I think I owned it, but I never saw past the child section because I couldn't even get to that except on easy, and easy ends after the Stampede level.
Yep.
I think there's a cheat code in that to skip levels. Is that right?
There is.
That's the only way I've seen later in that game.
God, I wish I'd have known that. I got 2 adult symbol once, and the game froze.
Ooh.
God, I also own Toy Story. They really gave me those fucking hell holes, huh?
Toy Story was my first video game next to OG Killer Instinct, and I'm like, man, this Toy Story game's pretty hard. And my dad's like, yeah, it's real great that I have to play all of it to show it to you. I sure hate my life when we have to be on the fucking skateboard and the awful looking dog is chasing you.
See, by the time it was the Super Nintendo era, I was old enough where I started to put together the pattern of branded game equals bad time. So the only 2 games, and I don't know how I ended up with one of these. You cannot. I've never known how this entered my collection. I swear a witch put it there or something. But the first game I totally wanted, and it was pretty good, honestly. Cool Spot. Cool Spot's a pretty good game, all things considered, for a licensed game. Really great looking, fantastic music, fun time. Pretty hard, but not Lion King or Toy Story hard. The second game, I have no idea. It's that pirate game we did that.
Oh,
yeah.
What was that thing called?
Let me just pirate garm there. It's not Pirates of the Caribbean. It's based on like some even more low rent, never heard about.
Yeah, it was a movie at the time, right?
Yeah, I think it was a live action movie, which I didn't realize until only a few years ago. I swear I've never seen this movie, and my parents bought me a movie tie-in game.
Talking about?
Yeah, I have no idea what you could be talking about.
Yeah, we played it. What was it called? Oh, man.
Let's see. It wasn't Pirates of the Caribbean.
The only other
Buccaneer
pirate game I
might
know
be in the name.
is Pirates of Darkwater.
Yeah, it wasn't that one. I've never played that game. Have you played that?
The Dark Water was raw. that never got an ending because it got canceled.
Yeah, it still hurts.
Oh, wait.
Cutthroat Island.
There you go. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, there's
I don't know what the fuck that is.
so we did a video a billion years ago, so it's probably bad. Where we play that in a series called Retro Boots. And I couldn't get past the second level. Most of that video is level 1. It is terrible. A grown-ass man trying to fucking do this, and I can't. Admittedly, we had a lot of input latency back then. Maybe now with our modern setup.
Get the run back on it.
Yes, avenge my youth on this game that I have no idea how it entered my collection. And then we'd review the movie.
Okay.
Moving on to the next question from Guy Jean. Do any of you play tabletop role-playing games? If so, tell us about your most recent game or maybe fun stories from games past. I haven't in maybe over a decade. Yeah, I think I stopped to run GigaBoots now that I put together the timeline. Huh. Anyways, Aggro, this just seems like a slot for you to talk.
Yeah, that's why I put it in so Aggro could talk. I have stuff also, but mostly for Aggro.
Well, I mean, I've always been of the opinion that stories about your tabletop game are like stories about your dreams. Nobody really cares unless they're in them. But I did get to experience something magical last week. I've got a player who I keep forgetting this is the first tabletop game she's played. So she has no idea about any of the tropes you'll generally run into in any given D&D game. So when I had her roll a dex saving throw to avoid being engulfed by a gelatinous cube, I described, it's there's a gelatinous cube. And she says, a what? And my brain spun around inside my skull because that meant she had no idea why hopping down into that seemingly safe 10-foot pit would be a bad idea, and I was just going to have to let her do it.
That's great. Oh, hello. What are you hovering for?
Jedi car. Jedi car.
What? Jedi car?
That story's a little abstract and esoteric.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Do it.
Completely lost my train of thought now.
Yeah, I know. She's just been hovering next to me listening to your whole story, and I'm like, what is this about?
So we played a poorly written module that was supposed to be an intro for the Star Wars Force and Destiny game. And I say poorly written for two reasons. One, because it was written poorly, and two, because everybody had a lightsaber. And lightsabers in that game are as overpowered as lightsabers are in those movies. So our group motto became, what are they going to do? Stop us? So the game was fucking clown shoes, so we just started ribbing our DM the whole time. We're like, okay, we've all got lightsabers. Maybe we can find some more lightsabers, and I don't know, make a car out of them with lightsabers for wheels.
You all become Grievous.
So we all just started chanting Jedi car, Jedi car, anytime we went to go look something up.
Jesus Christ.
And in the middle of session 2, the holy Jedi holocron from the temple sent us on a fetch quest to a nearby town, and we're like, man, that's a long way. How are we supposed to get here? And the DM's like, oh, well, I have, and he freezes. And all the blood runs out of his face. I don't know who started doing it first, but it was barely a whisper across the table. Jedi car, Jedi car, Jedi car. At which point, most of us are now crying, laughing, half out of our chairs on the floor because this Clown Shoes module has just Monty Hall'd everything we've ever wanted.
This is evil in the way I like.
Yeah, that's about the quality I expect. Field, did you want to tell some stories before we move on to the next question?
Sure. Couple years ago, we were doing the Pathfinder adventure path, Iron Gods, which it is like the sci-fi one where you can get laser guns and you fight fucking ancient robots and shit.
Righteous.
So we had a problem. The party was one melee character who was a fighter, basically, and 4 casters. And we knew there was a barbarian and all her guys on the other side of a door. And barbarians are scary as shit in Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the fighter, if they got to do a full round attack, which means you get to attack like 2 or 3 times on the fighter, and hit every time, the fighter would just be down.
Mm.
Well, I was playing a wizard. And you need to understand that regardless of what their alignment says, wizards don't understand the difference between right and wrong. So we had found a lot of plastic explosives.
Oh, no.
So I summoned an earth elemental, and we attached all the plastic explosives to the earth elemental. And then we had the earth elemental burrow, because earth elementals have a thing called I forget exactly what it's called. It's called like ground walk or whatever. They can like phase down into earth and then pop up other places. They can basically swim through the ground. So I had him swim through the ground and come up in the room with all her guys and the barbarian, and then I just blew him up. Let's see. The other really good one that I can think of is I forget what it's fucking called right now, but there's a monster in Pathfinder that is basically like the Loch Ness monster, but it's immune to magic. And also if it like makes contact with a magical item, it has a chance of destroying it. And that was guarding like it was a crashed spaceship that had crashed on a lake. And the way into the spaceship was out in the lake where that fucking Loch Ness monster was. And nobody wanted to fight that fucking Loch Ness monster. So luckily, our fighter at that time had the weapon they would use for the rest of the game, which was an adamantine chainsaw. Adamantine in the context of Pathfinder, it ignores hardness. Which basically means, like, if you use it on stone or something, you get to immediately start breaking the stone and don't have to, like, overcome the stone's hardness, which is basically just subtract its hardness from whatever damage you deal. So it's like, why don't we just chainsaw through the back of this dungeon? So we did that and came out inside the boss of the dungeon's room where he didn't have any guys, because it was basically Mother Brain. So imagine we just came out behind Mother Brain.
That's pretty good.
I'm trying to think if there's any good one from the most recent campaign.
I realized that Tosh and I realized it seconds after the transition. Tosh hijacked Aggro's answer. I have no idea what happened to that person who leapt into the pit.
I mean, she was fine, but I will tell you, I learned something else in that fight. For anybody running 5e who's ever had problems with clerics being overpowered monsters,
yeah.
We're talking, these were like 8th level players. If your cleric is not strength built, if it's full whiz for casting, put him inside a gelatinous cube and then remind your player that pretty much every cleric spell requires a verbal component. Watch the fear creep back into their eyes.
Oof.
You want to have a lot of fun? Gelatinous cubes can be stacked like cubes.
The more you know.
Ooh, it's like Disgaea.
Yes.
Then you throw them.
Could you imagine a D&D type thing, a tabletop RPG with as crackheaded mechanics as Disgaea?
That would be pretty good, yeah.
Okay, so we enter the room all holding each other. We are stacked 8 high.
I mean, if you can find somebody who wants to adjudicate all that lift and carry math, yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Dan threw me. What do you want to do, KZ? I want to hit the Geo panel.
See, that is a game where the 1,000 peasant railgun would work. Because passing something, I think, is a free action in one of these fucking editions.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea was you would line 1,000 peasants up and have them pass like an iron rod between them. So it would like accelerate to an obscene speed by being passed rapidly because it all happens instantly because it's a free action.
You'd run it like 1.5 miles in 6 seconds. And when the math catches up to that, you've got a dead dragon.
That's pretty Disgaea, yeah.
That's great. See,
I always ask players when they try shit like that, I pause, you look them right in the eye, and you ask them, okay, is that how you want physics to work in this setting?
Well, yeah, that's all. That's not my experience too. Except usually it's more like, do you want me to be able to use these physics?
Mm-hmm.
That is the subtext of Aggro's question. Yes.
Don't fucking tell me this magical item isn't realistic, or I'll start making them realistic.
You really don't want that.
I activate the immovable rod. Let's see, how fast does the Earth travel through space?
Oh no, Aggro, you can't do that because there's actually a story about that too, and somebody using it to destroy a castle they were supposed to siege. Because the GM decided it shot off into space, so they calculated the movement of the planet and was like, it'll go right at that castle.
I realized our viewers have just tricked us into doing a D&D podcast. They're like, well, now we don't have to hit a stretch goal, and they get to tell stories. This is as close as we get, but it's free.
Yeah, I have one.
Hey, it doesn't involve us doing 3 hours a week, so it's good to me. Okay, I can't think of anything else right now, KZ, so go ahead.
All right, so I've done a few games. One time casually with some people I don't hang out too often with. Wanted to do one just casually. And I'm like, sure, we can whip something up. And because they annoyed me slightly recently at the time, I was like, okay, but if you roll low sometimes, I'm gonna fuck you. So
it's inappropriate table talk.
Yeah, just a little bit. They were playing through it, and they were getting away with some stuff. One of them's like, I want to play a thief, just so I can immediately go to the first shop that I find and steal everything, which they did because they rolled really well. And I'm like, okay, I guess this can happen. Why not? They got into a battle later, and one of them used a bow and arrow and rolled a 1. And I'm like, this is a critical failure. I'm sorry. That arrow's just gonna ricochet now. I'm gonna need this person here to roll to dodge. They rolled a 1. I'm like, oh, the arrow pierced you through a door. You're just pinned to the door now. And I think toward the end they were getting obsessed with a treasure in that specific dungeon, which was like a poison dagger. Because they wanted to like stack poison damage on it. And a couple of times they had fucked it up and just poisoned themselves. Just because they rolled so low. I'm like, I guess it just hurts you. It's like you tried to stab it, but you cut yourself somehow. And one of them is just a complete fucking idiot where the person died of poison. And they had been raunchy, and they're like, I played a female character. I'm going to try and annoy you in this call by saying that I fucked your corpse. And I said, okay, you're poisoned. Roll to live. They failed.
Good.
Yes. They were very upset that I'm like, you died of poison because you, I guess, decided to fuck the corpse of your party member that accidentally poisoned themselves because they rolled a 1.
You have single-handedly reminded me why I don't like the concept of playing D&D with randos.
Yes.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's like an uninvited pseudo invitation to certain brains that this is in fact not a tabletop RPG and is in fact Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I've decided to ruin lives. if I'm being forced to babysit, I will do this right now.
If you guys want to go murder hobo, I can murder some hobos.
I'm like, I'm sorry. It's a mix of you being really bad or saying, if I roll a necromancer, can I control literally anyone because there's a skeleton inside them?
Rahab is actually from when I played D&D. No one would listen to his backstory.
That's just rude.
This is my ultimate revenge.
Is the Patreon bumper his backstory? Was his backstory that he was in Death Stranding?
Yes, his backstory is he's in Death Stranding.
What's the timeline on that? Like, when does the one where he's brutally fucking murdered by a dragon, when does that happen in the timeline?
He survived that. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
What he didn't survive was a giant crucifix being shot like an arrow off the top of a building. That was not good for him.
Good times.
The only other story I have was also from the Iron Gods campaign, where we had 3 other party members who looked human but weren't. One was an android. One was a kitsune, which meant that they could hide their tails and just look human. And I forget what the other one was. It was 2 years ago. But there was one boss, and they were supposed to be real fucking tough because they stood at like on like a catwalk and would shoot the party with human bane arrows. And this dude failed his perception check every single one, so he never targeted an actual human with his human bane arrows.
Oh fuck.
So he's like pumping arrows into our android cleric, and he's like, why the fuck isn't this working? I'm doing like 1d3 damage a shot. This is bullshit. I'm supposed to do like 18 bonus damage because it's arrow of human bane.
Definitive proof that the android can never truly be human.
Androids in Pathfinder are fucking weird. They die after like 100 years, but that means they turn off and then another soul comes in them and they become a different person.
You know, you reminded me of another one where I was just playing the game with a group, and they entered a room, and this one player, she's like, I'm gonna go check further ahead, and the DM's like, to another person, hey, do you want to like, go with her or look after her anyway? It's like, no, she's got this. And then she did a roll for perception. It was a 1, and it was like, okay. She fell in a hole. And then she died. That was it.
All right. Sometimes the death comes for you fast.
Yeah. She played like a very low health, small character. And it's like, yeah, this is a 100-foot drop.
Okay. I'm going to move us to the next question. EB writes in, what is a regional dish or restaurant from somewhere that you're either curious about trying, Yakisoba-pan? For example, I own a book about regional burgers, and one of them is the steamed cheeseburger in Connecticut, where the patty and cheese are cooked in a special steam box, among many other different burgers. I love that they mention this, and then they don't mention if they've tried it or it's good or anything. They've just opened a mystery to me.
I assume they just want to try it. Like that's
yeah. I know what they're talking about because it was on some fucking Food Network show once where they put like a burger-sized slab of cheese onto the burger, but because it's been steamed, it's like gooey.
Yeah, I mean that sounds pretty good. So that is my answer. Asuyaki Soba-pan.
I've watched Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I want to eat most of those things.
Yeah, that's fair. They sound really good. Yeah, if I remember correctly, the whole way you're supposed to make like a White Castle burger is you're supposed to put so many onions on it that it steams the burger, like as it cooks. If I remember correctly, they cooked the meat on top.
I think they put on top of the onions, I think is how it goes.
Yeah. Great, now I want White Castle. Yeah, aside from that, I don't have anything. I miss Cajun food.
Yeah, I've seen so many cooking shows and whatnot that it's hard to pin down one exact dish. It's like, I want to go there and try this. I want to go there and try this.
Yeah, it's really difficult to go with one.
I'd love to have, like, I've had it before, but I'd love to have, again, official Chicago deep dish pizza.
I would like to try that, yeah.
I heard that's at Pizza Hut now.
No, that's Detroit.
That's Detroit
pizza.
Oh, okay.
Very different.
See, let me explain the difference. Detroit pizza, they put a line of sauce on the Pizza Hut thing. If it was Chicago pizza, they would basically turn the pizza into a sauce bucket.
Yeah, the sauce casserole, basically.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty good. If you take the cheese off that, I'd try that.
I mean, you wouldn't notice because the cheese is all under it.
Yeah, it's true. You might actually like it.
It's like stuffed crust all the way through.
And the feel goes down like a bomber.
I have always wanted to hit the Great White North and actually try some poutine.
Oh, yes.
Yes. No.
Oh, yes. Me. That's definitely one for
Tosh
me.
went to like an anime convention in Canada and ate so much poutine and then came back and talked about it. I'm like, this is the cruelest thing.
How could you do this to me?
It was great too because I'm like, I wish I could have gone. I don't have any time or any money to actually go with you. Perhaps someday GigaBoots will be successful enough where I can have the money. And I'm like, okay, the day has come. And then the pandemic started.
We have to record 5 podcasts tonight.
We have to record enough podcasts so that way the moment the pandemic ends, we can have lives. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next 7 podcasts.
Okay.
Why didn't they stream on Friday?
You're going to get your bed with just set up so you can sit up and record as many podcasts as possible.
Yes, optimized for podcasts. Here's the thing, though. Having such a soft and inclined bed to record from, for people who don't know, I've seen a very fancy bed where the whole thing inclines, and it's ridiculous. I was talking before we recorded this about getting one of those in the distant future. Anyways, that soft bed would really baffle the sound in the room, so that way it would be like wall treatment.
I'm wondering, is that like a sleep number bed? Is that what those are called, or is it something else?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I didn't pay too much attention, because I assumed it was insanely expensive. I have no idea. Did anyone have any other regional dishes they wanted to mention before we moved on?
I know I played Muramasa, the Vanillaware game, and I wanted to eat every single dish they show.
Yeah.
I think that applies to anything they make, though.
Yeah, Vanillaware's good about that.
I feel like I should mention the reverse of that. If you are not from an area where you can get to an area where you can get like greasy ass spiced up from a carnival gator on a stick.
Yeah.
Do that at one point in your life.
Yeah, that stuff's actually pretty good. Shark isn't, but gator is.
That's funny. I think I've had shark, but I don't think I've had the gator, which is messed up.
That's a shame. The shark's kind of bland and kind of tasteless. The gator's pretty good usually.
Yeah, I've never heard anything good about shark except for shark fin.
Yeah, I hear about shark fin being used in recipes before, but I don't know if this is one of those we did it because we could things or if it is supposedly tastes good. I would really like to try pasta again that's made with that squid ink.
Yeah, I always hear that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in JoJo's, and that looked cool.
Yes.
I saw that in Squid Girl, and it was very funny because she barfed the ink onto it.
I have a Chinese friend who taunts me regularly by sending me pictures of their dim sum.
That's cruel.
It is.
Which is like all the different kinds of little dumplings that come in those steamer baskets.
Oh yeah.
See,
Bullshit.
yeah, no, that's
Want it.
Now I'm glad I don't have any South Korean friends who could send me pictures of Gangnam Bool. Like, oh, this is delicious, and we all make it here. I'm like, no, this is terrible.
God, every good Korean restaurant around here keeps closing. It's
I
rough.
know. I'm gonna cry.
They
It's horrible.
used to have good bokum. Now that's impossible.
What the fuck's a bokum? Is it an ekum bokum?
And I know Dan has owned me before by talking about lumpia.
Yes.
It's like, God damn it! Shut the fuck up!
I'm thinking about regional things Phil can't have, and I'm just thinking about fucking pub subs.
That's definitely on one.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
A fucking sub sandwich from a fucking supermarket.
Yeah, they're
Gonna go to Florida, and I'll get 3, and I'll be like, "Leave me, Daniel. No one must see what is about to happen."
We record podcasts for 6 days straight, and then he's like, and on the 7th day I rest.
You just put them in your mouth, you look like Hey Arnold.
That'd be really good. You know, we were looking at like, man, it would be cool if we lived in a city that had Google Fiber, but I bet they don't have Korean restaurants either. And then I looked it up and they did, and I was even madder that I live where I live. You know what? I should have just answered that question with, yeah, I'd like Gangnam Bool made by a Korean chef again. That would be great. That should have just been the first thing I fucking said, but I'm blocking it out. I'm coping by making my own, and it's not good.
Oh, no.
The next question is from Boner Lord. Hello, GigaBoots men, KZ, Feeling Man, and Dr. Aggro, MD.
Can I watch that on TBS?
Fuck you, Bob. I am not a TBS show. You take that back.
I'm on TNT, I swear.
I'm on Peacock.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
I'm on Fuse at 3 a.m.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Many video game players know the feeling of having a game take ownership of your soul. No matter how much you may grow to hate it or how much you wish to move on, this game will always have a grip on you and will always be something you want to go back to. What game owns your soul? I'm really good about quitting things that want more of my time, which is why my total MMO list is Final Fantasy 11.
Dan, you can't say that. You have my number 9 as this weird curse.
Oh no, that's different. That has nothing to do with me.
No, it isn't.
No, that's
Dan, how many times have you played all the way through that at the drop of a hat?
that's good content. I don't know what you're talking about. If people think I'm doing that,
can't do that.
If people think I'm doing that in my free time, holy shit.
Yeah, I think there's a definite distinction to be made here that like Dan plays Overwatch because he hates himself. Dan plays Mighty Number 9 because he hates Mighty Number 9.
You have no free time. What does it matter? It's I expect you to play nothing.
I used to have a really bad problem with Amplitude, which I've talked about on previous mailbags. So, but yeah, now I'm good now. Dragon's Crown is really amazing, though. Dragon's Crown is at the drop of a hat. I would love to go through an entire all of the difficulties playthrough of Dragon's Crown.
It is a lot of fun to just pick up and do that.
Yeah, a really enjoyable game. KZ, do you have anything for this question?
It used to be Overwatch, but I haven't played that in months, thankfully.
Wait a minute. Let me check this timeline.
That definitely has to be true. The only time I'd ever play it is with you, and you haven't played it in months, so clearly I haven't played it in months.
So let me check when I sent you that DM that we should play Overwatch and not tell anyone. One moment.
Definitely not finding loot boxes.
Definitely not 3 days ago.
They had a really good deal going. It was $5 guaranteed legendary. I got 2.
Oh man, you're right. I should go buy one.
I did, in fact, hold on. I still have it installed from when we played it, but we didn't play it.
Hey, Phil. I know Blizzard did you the favor of decimating Vanilla WoW, and then bringing it back, but by then the curse had been broken. Is there any other game that you would feel this way about?
Also, the curse isn't entirely broken. I still get it sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It never goes away.
And then you
You'll get a
stab your
flash
fingers
now
and
then.
go, okay, I'm good now.
Yeah, I jab a fork into my thigh and twist it a little bit, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness.
Right. Like, no, you deleted the curse client. That part of your life is over.
I don't think if there's anything that was just like a the thing is that I bounce off problems like that really easily.
Yeah.
Because when a game tells me you should play this game forever, I go, I'm not going to do that. I'll leave now. Goodbye. Like the instant it pierces into my brain, you're just supposed to play this over and over and over until time stops. I just go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a good spot with that because I think about I'm into Final Fantasy 14. That's an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, a chase you can do to get best in slot equipment in that. Where it's like, okay, you're gonna run this thing for 3 months and get things in this order. So you will always be the strongest at these points in time. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll run it once and then come back when you add another tier. Then I'll run that and go, that's pretty cool. Maybe run it more if friends are around. That's pretty much it.
It's why I've played so many MMOs, because I'll get to a point where like, oh, so I'm done with the fun part of the content. Awesome.
Yeah. I have no drive to do the really difficult stuff in any of those that involves a lot of grinding unless other people want to do it, and not if it's the unhinged stuff where it's like we've hidden an additional boss behind this really hard boss.
God. Yeah, WoW was a whole period.
Yeah.
I've mentioned it before, but I missed like triple digits of my senior year because of WoW. The only reason I got to graduate is because my school district was terrible, and like over 80 people in the senior year had over 100 absences. It's like, well, we can't prevent all of you from graduating, so just don't do it anymore. There's only 2 months left.
Fail us all.
Congratulations. I
bargaining.
can't believe you proved it. They can't get all of us.
It might have been different if everybody had been failing, but it's like this is like a low rent small town high school. It really isn't very hard to keep your grades at like a C.
Mm-hmm. This is probably going to be like a real basic bitch admission, but I went through kind of a thing with the phone game 2048.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had that too until I won.
For people who don't know, that's the knockoff of Threes.
It's so much better than Threes. Threes can kiss my ass.
That's fair. That was a lot more popular, so I figured I'd frame what it was for people who hadn't played it. It is really good. I also played that.
I always played the Doge version.
It got to the point where anytime I'm watching TV, I'm playing 2048. I don't even like it anymore. I'm staring at the screen going, wow, this is literally a compulsion. This isn't good.
Are you fucking serious?
Like, once you've done like a 4-hour run of that game, starting over hurts in your soul.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, that's why I stopped. That's why I had to stop.
Mm-hmm.
We good to move on?
Yeah, I don't think that I have anything for this one. I feel like we've gotten this kind of question before. I'm like, yeah, I keep going back to Devil May Cry 3, but it's not like a problem.
Yeah, it's like,
Right,
if I go back to some, it's like, it's because I like it. There's no part of this that I'm feeling bad.
Like, I just replayed Myst 1. It's not a problem. I can quit replaying Myst 1 anytime I want.
Well, yeah. Just go buy Dreams, and then you can play Lock for at least an hour or something, and then go back to Myst 1. I fucking titled that video 4-letter word that means mist, and someone in the comment section goes, Haze?
Haze.
I thought that got upset.
That's so good. Moving on. Crabcan writes in, howdy, transcendent thinkers. What do you all think is the coolest skateboard trick, real or fictional? Thanks for all the never-ending avalanche of content.
I don't know if it's the coolest, but one I like doing the most in Tony Hawk is Airwalk.
That is pretty good. I'm a huge fan of the human dart There's something really good about just doing a grind where you lie down on your skateboard and hold your hands out in front of you.
Yes.
Oh, that would have been mine. There was some variation of that. I remember in like the New York map and Underground when you're like on the side areas that are over the water and you're just doing that over the wires.
Yes.
The Darth Maul flip kick grind is really good.
Yes, that is one of the best. You're just doing that episode 1 as hell flip. It's so good.
I mean,
Christ Air.
Yeah, I was good that exact thing. Christ Air.
Christ Air is really good.
Where if you fuck up, you just die.
You're just done.
Yeah.
But you'll get up a few days later.
Jesus, take the wheel. I mean, honestly, the best skateboarding trick ever performed was the Super McVarial 900.
I have no real life skateboarding opinions. If I tried to have any, it would just be me repeating what Rad Rat has said. So
That's healthy.
And you don't need real life skateboarding opinions because the Super McVarial 900 is a fictional move from the Rocket Power cartoon.
Oh,
Of
is that the one
course.
that was physically impossible, but he managed
Yes.
to do it because he got hit by a chewed up tennis ball spat out of a lawnmower?
Yep.
Yes, I remember that. That was really good.
I saw that episode. I didn't fucking remember the name because Jesus Christ, Aggro, it's been 20 years.
Yeah, I know. You said it, and then it was like a sleeper agent was activated. I'm like, yeah, the Super.
Okay, here's something that's really going to hit like 3 people on the planet. Ray Rocket, the dad, and
No.
Monsoon of the Winds of Destruction have the same voice actor. And once you know that, you can really hear it.
See, I'm just going to
Yeah.
avoid going back to watch Rocket Power, and I'm good. I'm good.
Wait, who's that second character?
Metal Gear
The
Rising.
guy, the guy who splits apart in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance and talks about memes.
I don't want to think about that because I'm thinking of some fucked up Metal Gear Rising where Sundowner's just Tito, and I don't need that.
As the ancient Hawaiians used to say, give war a chance.
Next question's a real thinker. Luke A writes in, hello to the most giga of boots. A while back in the Discord, someone asked which Japanese developer hasn't improved or has become worse after the 7th gen ended. I wanted to hear all your thoughts on this question. I feel like we all got better after that.
What about
Yeah, I know.
Integrate?
That's dire.
That implies Inti Creates was better during 7th gen.
Yeah, I know. It's like that's what I'm saying. It hasn't changed at all. Identical. to
I
7th gen.
think Mega Man 9 and 10 are better than the stuff they're putting out now.
What are you talking about? They did a bunch of Hazard Striker Gunvolt. Do you like that one game?
7th gen?
No, this gen. So it would be an improvement over Mega Man 9 and 10, which are just... I've stated my opinion on those before, but, you know.
I don't
I'm
really
trying to-
like 9 or 10, but I like that the first Bloodstained thing a lot.
And that's true. That is their best game, so there you go.
Okay, yeah.
They have improved by
Right,
making
for-
one great game
They woke up for a second and then went back to sleep.
and then went back to sleep with the sequel. That is correct.
Konami,
I mean,
but they almost
Yeah.
don't count.
yeah, they have
That's
just
what I was gonna
evacuated.
say.
This depresses me to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think Platinum's gotten worse.
I mean, they
Yeah,
stopped putting
yeah.
games out
Yeah,
at all.
they ship games during 7th
They
gen.
put out a
though.
shitload of games.
Oh, that's true. During 8th gen, they did do Avatar,
Oh, yeah.
TMNT.
They put out all those.
Transformers, Bayonetta 2, Astral Chain.
Yeah, they
Oh,
just
this
get
is
worse.
fucked up that their best one is Transformers.
Yeah, it's really messed
It's like
up.
what's the last Platinum game? Not counting Nier Automata, which is barely counts in my opinion. It's like I have to go back to 2013 and Revengeance, where it's like I can say this game is great with no buts.
Yeah, Nier is really the only one since then.
You're making me real sad. Where I'm like, yeah, it's Transformers, then Metal Gear Rising, and then that's it. Because I also don't really count Nier because I feel like that's mostly what they're working with the collaboration.
Yeah, it's like the reason somebody would say they love Nier Automata is not going to be Platinum put like their most platinum checklist combat possible into this game.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying you're a huge fan of Mercury Steam and your favorite game is that Metroid game they made where Nintendo kept slapping them on the wrist every 10 seconds.
I mean, I have to give them some credit for that. Every other game from Yoko Taro has been so badly playing, I don't even bother. Like the combat in Drakengard and in the first
I know,
Nier
all their
is
gameplays
so
are
bad.
like a 2.
Yeah.
I understand it.
So if it goes from a 2 to an 8 gameplay-wise, yes, that's them. That definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely Platinum. I haven't played Nier Automata, so obviously that's not in the running for me. But yeah, the peaks go Astral Chain all the way back to Metal Gear Rising. Those are everything else is below sea level. Astral Chain, not a very high, but everything else is below sea level compared to it.
TMNT was probably one of the lowest points where it's like, even on non-Nintendo current gen consoles, this is 30.
I like the Transformers game more than Astral Chain.
I don't. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty
I probably agree with that. Yeah,
I'm open to other people feeling that way. I don't. It's not.
I mean, despite the fact that Transformers is really short, you know,
And it looks
that's probably
Yeah, it does do that. I looked at it pretty
I feel like
recently.
the style it was going for looked fine.
I guess it
more
comes
cartoony look.
It boils down to
GameCube game that shipped 10 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look high quality, and I don't like the artistic stylings of original Transformers that much.
But yeah,
I guess so. I'm not super graphics oriented like Dan is, so I didn't really bother me that much.
I remember I looked at footage of it recently, and I literally got confused which gen it shipped during. But yeah, when it comes to other devs that have gotten worse, I can't think of any because Inti Creates that implies a height during 7th gen that I don't respect or identify.
Right.
And there is a good chance. I mean, I would obviously rather play Circle or Curse of the Moon than basically anything they ship during the 7th gen.
Right, because I think 7th gen would also be the first Gunvolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's almost nothing for if it's just Japanese. What Western ones can you think of, Dan?
That have gotten worse? I mean, there's BioWare.
Yeah.
BioWare's just been a shambling corpse for a while now.
yeah.
Bethesda
Definitely.
has failed to ship anything people really want this last gen except for Skyrim Remastered. God, that's
They should
fucked.
Fallout 4.
Everyone thought it was worse than the last one.
That's true. It was, but it still sold like 25 million.
Oh yeah, it
copies.
still
Yeah,
sells
there-
well. I'm not saying it doesn't.
There were a lot of people who were upset or disappointed in Fallout 4, but it seemed like it wasn't a massive failure on their part. I think it's the larger part of this gen where they don't do anything except for outsource, Fallout 76 to a studio that was previously making a weird online competitive MOBA thing. I can't remember exactly what that was going to be.
Yeah, that was shown when they first revealed Fallout 4, which makes it funnier.
Yeah, and since we're talking about like I feel like we're more having a conversation about developers, the Elder Scrolls Online thing is also not necessarily Bethesda GameWorks.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of Sega's output during that gen going forward.
Oh, it's hard for me because I wasn't a Yakuza fan, right?
Right.
So I can't judge it based on that through line. I haven't been thrilled by any Sonic game, PS3 or PS4, other than Mania. I always felt like the 3D ones were almost there, and then they really got stuck in that rut. And boom,
That part.
shipped, not done on an engine that the Wii U couldn't run.
Yeah, you made a good point just now with Sega in some respects where I'm like, oh, last gen, I enjoyed some Sonic games on there. That's when they were trying. That one has the last one where they tried to make a AAA Sonic game.
What are you talking about?
Man,
There's
they-
Forces.
Yeah.
I said AAA, not half an A.
Yeah, is Forces the only 3D Sonic they shipped in all of 8th gen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm like,
I mean, if you count Wii U, then they shipped that one.
they ship Boom in Forces.
Oh,
and that-
fucking Lost World.
Yeah,
I
Lost
forgot
World.
about
Oh, that's
Lost
true.
Yeah.
Lost World. People tell me I should hate that game. KZ, should I hate that game?
I played it and I went, this gameplay style says nothing to me, and I dropped it after 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It's not, I hate that. I think Lost World is worse than Forces.
As someone who likes the boost style gameplay, but also likes the adventure style gameplay, this new one did negative for me, where I'm like, no, I see what you want and no. And then I looked at gameplay later and went, yes, still no.
Huh. Also, Lost World doesn't count. It released before the PS4.
Okay, that's fine. I'll allow it.
So they shipped Sonic Forces.
Fuck. And boom.
All of its 8th gen.
And boom.
Which they didn't even ship on PS4.
Yeah, but we got to do the year cutoffs based on.
They put a couple of booms on 3DS.
Yeah.
Okay, so they shipped Sonic Boom in late 2014. So it's we're going on 7 years without a 3D Sonic other than Forces, which came out 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's questionable that's even 3D. I can't be sure.
It's more than half the levels aren't.
But yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I'm trying to think of what else but yeah, Yakuza fans probably have an opinion about PS3 Yakuzas versus PS4 Yakuzas.
They're all good. I don't think there's like a notable there certainly wasn't a decrease. If anything, there was an increase.
Okay.
Between 7th and 8th gen, because 8th gen basically started off with 0, which is like the best one by a lot.
So you basically have that battling Sonic for whether or not this was down or up.
Yeah,
I feel like Sega also started releasing a lot more like collections and things on 8th gen.
No, most of their collections launched on PS2, PSP, and PS3, and Xbox Live Arcade. They were heavy into re-releases during that gen. I mean,
they had a couple like port stuff, like the PS3 Yakuzas were put in a trilogy, and the Shenmues were put in a double pack before 3 came out.
Yeah, they probably yeah. I'm trying to think of how many games they ported from PS3 to PS4. I think you just
I think I named all of them. There you go.
Yeah.
So not huge either time, I guess. So really,
I really liked the new Sakura Wars they put out last year. Thought that was good. I would like them to do another one of those.
I would like their IPs to come back. You know, they own a really good catalog of IPs. They started doing Puyo Puyo Tetris during was that PS3, I believe? It's
that
so close.
PS4.
It's so close to the line.
Right.
I think
I don't know if there was a PS3 version.
I think there was, but
it's funny that I never heard of it until the Switch launched.
Puyo Puyo Tetris?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah,
that was 2014.
Yeah, so that's that shit.
Yeah, I
last
just assumed
gen,
that was like a new thing like Super Bomberman R.
But that's also not a new thing.
Oh,
okay. you mean how Super Bomberman R was new when it launched on the Switch.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see how
and now it's a battle royale or something.
Or something.
Only on Stadia.
I feel like at least Sega is now at least letting other people touch their franchises if they don't want to. Like they let Streets of Rage 4 happen.
Right. That's true.
And they're letting people make Wonder Boy is a Sega thing, right? I know it's the most complicated complicated game franchise in humanity.
That's not why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because of Venture Brothers.
Okay. It's good they let other people like touch their other franchises, like Panzer Dragoon.
And then Alex Kidd.
The Panzer Dragoon.
I heard they patched it and made it better.
Yeah, they get some negative points for what they're doing to that.
Yeah, it seems like it's a wash with Sega. I'm not going to say one way or the other. Because, as KZ said, they actually tried it all on Sonic that gen. And then this gen, they really didn't. And then they accidentally swung a fucking Mania. And then they just went, we're done with you.
Please announce something soon.
Yeah, I can't immediately be cross because I still play Sega games at all. I feel like when they're on a downtrend, it's like I play them and I just come out just like, because that's where I'm at with Platinum.
I feel like Atlas hasn't had their heyday since the PS2. Like they have a few really great releases, but it seems like it keeps getting slower and slower. So
Yes, because PS2 is like, we'll just release like one game a fucking year for that entire gen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of like speed and output, yeah.
I mean, that's the industry at large, though.
Yeah, it's just the delay feels crazy with them because every game went to like taking 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And most of they kind of shifted gears where console wasn't the priority, so it was mostly just
Yeah, they released a shitload of things on portables. They
stuff
released,
on
like,
portable.
Yeah.
Though even that you could be a little bit more strict with them, where it's like their 3DS output. A lot of people are like, it was insane, and I'm like, 70% of this is DS games.
Oh yeah, it was ports of DS games. I really didn't like any of Atlus's
Devil Survivor 1 and 2, Strange Journey.
Yeah, I still want to try Strange Journey, but I tried those Survivor games. I was like, this really isn't for me. I saw enough footage of what they did with Shin Megami Tensei 4 that I was like, I don't want to play that. So,
what part of 4 doesn't grab you?
The completely first person perspective for battles,
battles,
and 2D art and all that.
Yeah, Bob's always hated that perspective.
Yeah,
then you won't like Strange Journey.
Of course,
because that's first person everything.
Yeah, that's first person everything. It's like the first two.
Yeah, like it's a really bad dungeon crawler that people pretend is good.
Okay, I'm gonna move us to the next question. It's gonna be the last one. Nicholas C writes in, "Hello, Giga Boys. Huge fan of your work. Just a quick question: are there any non-gaming podcasts you guys listen to and would recommend? Some of my personal favorites is My Favorite Murder, a true crime podcast, and How Did This Get Made, a film podcast. Thank you guys for all the quality entertainment and looking forward to seeing more." Ian from the Completely Unnecessary Podcast does a podcast called Extra Napkins. It's about food. It is worth checking out. I would recommend that. If you want to go through comedy podcast hell,
oh God.
Might I suggest Comedy Bang Bang, a podcast that isn't for you, the listener?
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, you have no idea. These people are malicious. Yeah, aside from that, a lot of the other podcasts I listened to got shut down a few years ago. I always recommend the the AIAS Game Maker's Notebook, which stands for Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. That is where the CEO and fucker-upper of Resistance 2, Ted Price, goes around talking to different people in the industry about games they worked on. They do some the bounty quicker fucker-upper. Anyways, he talks to people who work on a great number of games about their games. He talks to like Spelunky's Derek Yu. Actually, no, that wasn't him that episode, but sometimes it's not always him. But that podcast is really insightful, worth checking out. You know, they covered Hades, Bug Snacks, all sorts of stuff. You learn about a lot about making games from that podcast, which is different from a, gaming news podcast. Yeah, no, I'm not going to recommend any of the rest of these. Does anyone else on this podcast listen to podcasts?
I mean, yeah, I can sit here and recommend podcasts all day, but if we're shortening up that list, Our Fake History is one I really love. They'll go through episode by episode and just pull either events or people from history who have a lot of either common misconceptions or long-running historical myths about them and break those down. Wittenberg to Westphalia might be my favorite history podcast because it's ostensibly about the wars of the Reformation. It's 89 episodes in, and we have not gotten to those wars yet. It is fucking dense.
That's amazing.
I've also recently started listening to a podcast a friend recommended to me called Old Gods of Appalachia, which is a horror anthology podcast, and as such might contain material not suitable for younger viewers. It is a up there in the Appalachian Mountains in the dark hills, things get a little Lovecraft style wiggity weird, and it's really, really good.
Nice. There's a gas station I run to occasionally to get a snack or something else if we run out and every store is closed around us. And the person in there is like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" I'm like, "Oh, I do a podcast." She's like, "I love podcasts. What do you do?" I'm like, "It's mostly gaming," and I watch the interest drain out of her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, good.
Yes, actually. And I'm like, good.
Yup.
Good. Now I get my piece.
Whenever anybody asks me what I do, I'm like, don't worry about it.
You don't need to know.
I think Phil is the mysterious character in a Tarantino film. He says very terse words, very few words. You don't know who he's gonna shoot, but you assume at some point he starts blasting.
Oh, I'm an outrider. I outride.
You can't just keep outrighting your problems, Bob.